Welcome back to Driver's Therapy. Today we have a really cool video because we have this really neat, nostalgic RC car. This is a Nissan Skyline R34 GTR XMOD. Now guys, XMODs bring me all the way back. It's like thinking about Blockbuster and all that because this is Radioshack. I don't know if you guys remember Radioshack. I might be dating myself, but Radioshack was this electronic store, and this is for you guys who don't know. It was an electronic store. It was typically like in a, in a typical like shopping mall area, and they just sold like miscellaneous electronics, phones, all kinds of things. But they also sold these really cool RC cars. But they weren't just your regular type of RC cars where you put a battery in there and just go drive it. You could modify, customize, and kind of tinker with these. Now I know the hardcore like RC hobbyists is like, they're not very intricate or complicated, but for the everyday person, they really opened up a lot of doors and actually was kind of a gateway to even more serious RC stuff. So these things are really cool. And for us people out there who love cars, this was like our first step of being able to like modify things. Now this is really neat. And here in Driver's Therapy, we love anything with the steering wheel. And the cool part is the remote has a steering wheel. So this is really, really cool. So in this video, we're gonna be showing it to you. I'm gonna take the body off, show you kind of the components and stuff like that. And then after that, we're gonna run it, kind of show it to you the best I can and go from there. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right in. So looking at this RC car, as you could tell, it's not very big. You know, I can grab the whole thing with my hand and doesn't have a lot of clearance, so you definitely want to drive it just on flat areas. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the body. As you could tell, this is a cool R34 Skyline, one of my personal dream cars. And we're going to take off the body by just hitting this little button here and just pushing this out, being careful with the antenna. And then now we have the body and the chassis separate. Now let's look at the body real quick for a second. All right, the body looks very straightforward. I mean, it's light. As you could tell, it actually is it could be taken apart even further. There's some screws for the front bumper, some screws for the rear bumper, and for the side skirts. And what that allows you is what XMOD allowed you to do is you could even modify there. It was even body kits for like the certain cars. So that's really neat. So this Skyline doesn't have, I didn't come with other body kits, but I like how it looks. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys could tell, but the lights here have little openings, intentional openings. And that's because XMOD offered, these kits had an option that you could add little lights to them, little LED lights. And I think, if I'm correct, when you press the brakes, the rear lights, the brake lights turned on, which is cool. So the cool thing about XMODs is that they came with all sorts of different bodies: Camaros, Mustangs, G35s, 350Zs, Civics, I mean, everything you could think of, Supras. So it was really neat. And then, I mean, you can't beat that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the chassis. All right, guys, the chassis is where everything happens. I mean, first off, it looks, if you've never seen one, you're probably thinking, wow, that looks quite interesting. Well, these XMODs were being sold through a certain point of time, and there's different generations. And this chassis with the green color is known as a Generation 2 chassis. All right, so when you're looking at it, as you could tell, one of the first things that caught my eyes is that it's got little independent suspension. It's got control arms right here, and look at that, and it works. So that already is pretty cool. And then one of the main things, you know, if you like cars or RCs, you like speed, one of the most popular modifications people do with this is that you could upgrade the motor. They came in different stages, and with this Gen 2 body, you just took off these connectors here in this bracket, and you were able to replace the motor, which is really neat. And on top of that, if you want to even go further, there's a little cover here, and what you were able to do is you were able to change out the gearing as well. So you were able to increase the gearing ratio or reduce it, which was really neat. Now in this video, I might make a video where I go a little more intricate in it. Now there is people out there who know way more about these than I do, but what I want to do in our channel is I want to introduce to you guys, maybe you've never seen an XMOD, or maybe you've seen him, it's been a long time, but guys, the hobbyist and the community is big. People still are enjoying playing with these. So one of the things we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you real quick kind of what one thing you could do. Now if you see right here, you have the wheel. I'm going to see if I could zoom in real quick. Give me a second. All right, so if you see, okay, so we have the wheel right here. Look at this, it comes with a little tool. I'm going to remove the one piece lug nut. I don't know if that's the right word. And it comes off, it's a little plastic piece, and we can remove the wheel. Look at that, it even has a kind of like a little mock caliper with the rotor in it. And the great thing about it is if you wanted to, you could switch the wheel entire combination. Maybe you wanted to go with a different type, more spokes or less spokes. And what I did like about this is instead of the, it was very thought out. Instead of them just, putting it on there is a flat spot. So you have to make sure you put the wheel on correctly, and it's going to be on there. So it's on there. Put this little tiny plastic thing, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you need to make sure you line this up correctly, or you're going to be cross-threading this plastic thing, and you might need to get another one. I'm going to use the tool to work this back in there. And then we're in. Look at that, guys. And we changed the tire out. So the cool thing is these are just fun because you could do all kinds of stuff. I've seen online that they have aluminum chassis parts, and they have carbon fiber components as well. Of course, the different engines. They have the lighting kits, the gear set, different springs. There's all kinds of things you could do. And I believe there's also trucks, little trucks that, you could do some more stuff to it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to show it to you in action. Oh, before we forget, before we do that, let's show you the remote. All right, guys, here is the remote for an XMOD. Now, first off, look how cool that is. That's the steering, and this is actually customizable. You could put an aftermarket steering wheel, which is really neat. You could collapse this remote, which is neat. It takes a regular 9-volt battery in the bottom, and in the top, this your antenna could be removed for storage. And when you're ready to utilize it again, you just screw it on and you're good to go. Now on this remote, we have your typical features. Let me make sure I zoom out so you guys can see that. All right, so it has your typical features. You have your on mode that turns it on. You have your user, left-handed or right-handed. You have your high and low, and then you have your trim, your steering trims, which is really neat. And this back here, Strange Max. I don't know what that is. So, I know you guys out there are a great audience. So if you guys want to tell me what that is, that'd be awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and put it all together and let's go drive it. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm having a blast doing donuts and stuff. Well, guys, I really enjoyed making this video. I highly recommend if you like RC cars or anything like that, check out these classic XMODs. They're super cool. Well, guys, thanks for watching again. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.